Wrestling is a sport where you're trying to impose your will on another person and they're trying to do the same to you. Just watching it, you can see that it's just two people in a fight in the middle of the mat. As much mentally as it is physically. You don't depend on anybody else. You depend on the work you've put in, and you can't blame it on anybody else. It really defines what kind of person you are when your back's against the wall.
You have what it takes to be mentally tough.
Embrace the grind.
Today we're going to do weight classes. So we'll do a hill for every weight class. That weight class gets to pick what we do on top. Whatever exercise, whatever thing you want to do, you get to pick it. We're doing it for that weight. Okay? So we'll start at 25. We're not going to draw. What do you want to do on top?
Push-ups.
How many?
100.
Okay? 100 for 125. On the line. Here we go. You guys got your legs loosened up already?
Yeah.
Here we go. I like it. Ready? It's for 125. Let's do it.
So it was actually kind of a big change, doing something different, like leaving campus to go run this hill. So preseason, it's basically we're never on the mat as much. It's a lot more getting our legs into shape, so we do a lot of running. And it's basically to get your mental toughness more than conditioning almost. When coach gave us the option, we each weight class had to do a workout on the top. And I remember everyone's face when Trevor, 25 is like, yeah, we'll do 100 push-ups. We're just like, what did we just get into?
5, 6, 7, 8.
Sibley's a little different. It's a little steeper. It's more of a sprint than a marathon.
Wide open! Leader set the pace. Everybody keep
Get it, Funk! Get it, Funk! Catch him!
It's just more, mental. We do a lot of stuff here in the preseason to break guys. I think coaches sometimes throw some really hard days in there, like Sibley, to try and get guys to quit, guys who aren't committed.
Chop it away!
Our coaches are really good at pushing us pretty hard. So I'd say that's a big aspect, is they really try to break you. Just being able to get through those workouts and getting stronger preps you for when it comes down to the time of wrestling, just being mentally tough. Teaches you not to break in certain situations. But yeah, that was a lot tougher than I thought it'd be. That hill was just straight up and down.
What people don't know is there's not really an off season. We start right when school starts. We got the first week of classes off, and then it was right into it. We were lifting and doing workouts, and that was 5 days a week.
We go down the stoplight, you run around it, you come up here, you run around it. Stop sign. Yeah, same thing. 8 of them, let's go!
Whether it's running on the track, doing stadium stairs. It's really a full-time thing. I mean, it's called preseason, so people think it's lax, but we work pretty hard in the preseason.
I'll roll you down the front. You got Zim, go! That's it, you got this.
Today we did 10 hills here at beautiful Sibley Park. We got a nice grade. The resistance of the hill is essentially the resistance we feel every day when we train, and the resistance ultimately we're going to feel from our opponent. And so we got to do a little bit of adversity training, get guys falling in love with the battle and the grind, and fall in love with training with their teammates. And we had a great day. We did 10 of them. We did one for every single weight class. We have 10 weights: 125, 33, 41, 49, 57, 65, 74, 84, 97, and heavyweight. And all of them are important. So the more our team can battle for each other and want to fall on a grenade for each other, the better. And I think we took a step forward today. My name is Jim Makovsky. I'm the head wrestling coach at Minnesota State University Mankato, and proudly served in this position since 1993, so on my 23rd season. When I first got here, there was very limited resources. We had to be just like a wrestler, we had to be very resourceful. I like to think of things as a bronze, silver, and gold medal. We had to get to the bronze level, that we're doing things right in the community, we're involved, which is what they should be doing anyways.
Today we're having our eighth annual beanbag tournament to raise some money to bring back towards the program.
We were passing the sniff test in the classroom. Guys were here to get degrees, and then obviously the competitive part. The one thing I did learn from that is when you're being resourceful and trying to survive so you can win, I basically learned a lot about what the mission of the vision and values of the university are, and how important it is for our program to be aligned with those things.
I really enjoy the program. I mean, they greatly care about your wrestling and how you do in the sport, but they also keep track of your academics, make sure you're doing okay in those. And then, I mean, my biggest thing is you get to go home for the summer, there's no pressure to stay.
I grew up in a small town that's 25 minutes away from here, called Madelia. I had my cousin as my coach, and he used to wrestle here, and he's a 3-time All-American here, Andy Forstner. So that kind of guided my decision to come here. And Andy was the first state champion for our high school, and then my older brother was the second, and I was the third, so it was pretty cool to have that. All kept that all in the family. And high school I accomplished quite a bit. I had my cousin as my coach. Coached me for the last 2 years of my career. This is really eye-opening. I mean, he brought a different feel to the room, and the college type of wrestling, and it helped me a lot, transfer myself from a normal high school wrestler to actually knowing what it's like to wrestle in college and knowing the type of atmosphere.
Where I really feel like it's home is Toppenish, Washington. It's where I consider myself from, and yeah, it was a great place to be. Worked this really, really hard. I like starting all over, starting from scratch, basically learning how to wrestle all over again. It's a new style in college, so, but they're teaching me quick, and I'm picking it up. I love how it can just break you down completely, but it can teach you at the end of the day how to control it and to make you realize that the rest of the world is not that hard if you can survive through this.
It's a lot of learning. I mean, my true freshman year, I was pretty decent. I had a decent year. It's just when I got in those big matches, it just I wasn't there, like, mentally. Like, my mental toughness, like, isn't anywhere near what it is now. And it takes, like, going through some stuff to be able to get mentally stronger, to learn from it. And I feel like even last year, I was one match away from making it to nationals, and even then I don't think I was mentally strong enough, and it costed me a trip to nationals by a point or two. And this year I'm learning from that. I mean, I'm learning that I gotta keep going at the guy and not stop. Mentally, I feel like that's what sets you apart when you come into college. And in high school you can just win off talent, but here you gotta actually be mentally tough. Like, your mindset's gotta be totally different. Like, these guys are just as good as you are, but it's a guy who's, like, willing to go that full 7 minutes with everything he's got. Just be mentally stronger than that other person. I feel like that's the next level that you need to get to here in college.
I mean, it's a big change from high school. It's a lot more dedication, a lot more harder workouts.
My high school experience was extremely different than here in college. My senior year in high school, I wrestled 138. And then my freshman year in college, I went 133. So you can imagine there was a little bit of weight cutting. As I started getting used to being down and getting through these tournaments, I started to prove to myself that I could wrestle at the college level, and then end up going to nationals and placing third. That was pretty great. Sophomore year, I was a little too big for 133, but really small at 141. I lost that confidence. My junior year, I felt a little more settled in at 141, gained more confidence. Regions came, and I had to battle back for a true fourth match. That was exciting. Made it to nationals, an All-American match, and was up by 4 or 5 and got thrown to my back and pinned, so that was a little heartbreaking. So now just senior year campaign, trying to get back to nationals and bring home the title.
You grow as each year goes on, and you get a little stronger, you get a little better. You got to tell yourself, no, I'm not done, I can keep going, I can last another minute.
I feel like mental toughness, like, not only allows you to get through, like, really hard workouts and challenges, like, through wrestling, but basically I think it does a lot, like, in life too.
Like, obstacles that come in front of your way, like the weight cut, practice when you're tired.
Say, for example, our 30-minute match that we just wrestled straight. You just constantly want to quit. You just constantly want to quit. But it's the tiny little voice.
That little voice in your head.
Person inside of you that you let win.
That just says, hey, no, you're not done. You can keep pushing.
Wrestling forces you to literally use every muscle in your body. When you're getting cranked on by an opponent, they tend to find every muscle in your body and make it hurt. It's that ability to just push through that. You're not thinking of how tired you are. I think mental toughness in wrestling allows you to do that. It allows you to shut a lot of things out.
You're training your mind just to get there, because you don't start like that.
Mental toughness allows you to do a lot of things, but I feel mental toughness is literally a battle inside yourself.
Every day it's a new battle, so as much on the mat as it is in your mind.
The two biggest things by far to start working with mental toughness is one is not allowing them to make excuses. You accept responsibility for everything, including things that are out of your control. You have to adapt to those things. The second one is to teach them the importance of being comfortable, being uncomfortable. When you're trying to achieve something big, it's going to be uncomfortable. Otherwise, everybody would do it.
Getting comfortable being uncomfortable. That's one area that we call mental toughness. Another area that we see particularly in wrestling, because it's a very, very grueling sport, athletes have that fear of fatigue.
It's scary, it's uncomfortable, and I think that's what one of the best parts of it is. I think it's where you get your most development too.
You're competing for every point, and that every point is going to be hard to get.
A lot of wrestlers are warming up for their match, and they're afraid of what if I get tired out there. And we see this from youth wrestlers right through college. Some of the top teams in the country, the coaches come to us saying, you know, our guys are worried about getting tired before a match. So we have to, again, provide them with evidence. We have to give them the mental toughness strategies, the mental toughness building exercises. So one thing is picking a focal point, understanding, writing it down. What am I going to tell myself in those moments that I'm worried about being tired? Any kind of picture or any kind of word they could tell themselves, you have to have that pre-planned before you get into that moment. You can't wait till you get in the moment. You have to have a plan beforehand. What's going to emotionally pick me up?
When your back's against the wall, when you're so tired that you cannot do anything else, it really shows you who you are.
You go to any sporting event and you will see a kid get really mad when he loses and he throws a water bottle or he's punching a wall.
Whether it comes to a live goal or like a sprint where some guys will be way back and then they'll be in the front one time.
You see kids that'll be like a skip in practice or, you know, stuff like that, or they'll come in and just be sluggish and be like, hey, let's not go hard today.
Mental toughness allows you to stay in control. I think when you are not mentally tough or you lack mental toughness, you let those emotions show, and when you let those emotions show, you give your opponent a boost. You get distracted yourself. You don't concentrate on the task at hand anymore. I definitely see what mentally tough doesn't look like. I see, you know, someone crying. Not because they hurt, but because they lost. They're not physically hurt, they are mentally hurt.
The moment something gets a little bit hard, giving up, just not wanting to do it. It can apply to anything. Want to study for a test, moment you get sick of studying, just give up.
If we just tell the athletes, be mentally tough, you know, you can do it. It's great, but it's not backed by anything. It's not backed by anything. So if I write down a list of, 10 times where I was dead tired and I pushed through it, oh, look at that. I did it before. I can do it again.
You're developing mental toughness just like it's a bicep. And I guess I learned a lot from Dan Gable when I was younger and still do. But I had some great opportunities to sit down and talk with him. And he was saying you should put yourself through, you should spend, at least like 15 minutes to an hour on mental toughness and the mental part of it a day, just like you do lifting, because everybody says it's 90% mental, it's so much mental, but then coaches aren't comfortable teaching it. Athletes, a higher percentage of athletes think if you're working on mental stuff, that means you're mentally weak. And it's not true. You're just trying to take a saw and just keep it sharp, just like it's another muscle.
That's why I really liked wrestling. Wrestling really taught me how to be like mentally tough and learn how to be disciplined and dedicated.
I think wrestling can be a great teacher, because it prepares them for the different challenges and the different adversity and pain that they're going to see in their life, because pain is going to happen. You cannot avoid it.
Make him uncomfortable. Make him uncomfortable. No space. None.
So when you put yourself through painful challenges in those uncomfortable situations, it's more natural. It's obviously going to be difficult, but it's more natural because you practice.
I came in a little bit nervous just because first college match, jittery a little bit. But I feel like I did well. I lost to eventual champion by 1 point, riding time. But other than that, I feel like I came back through the back door and just fought.
Just coming from class, getting ready to go to practice. Probably another hard 2-hour practice coming up right here. But, hey, can't wait.
Coming in here, you come in tired, you come in beat up, sore, but it's the little wins that you gotta take. I still have that every day when I'm getting ran over, slammed on the ground. I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm done. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, nope, get back up on your feet and let's do it again. And again. It's repetition every day. At times you feel like you're just a punching bag. You don't feel like you get better. You just feel like you're getting worse. And that's where your coaches and stuff come in. I feel like that all the time. I feel like every time I walk out of this room, my face feels deformed. I feel like I popped out a shoulder or something, but you have a coach come and tell you that, hey, you look good today. And you're like, I was counting the lights today. I don't know what you mean. But he's like, you got a little bit better than yesterday, and that's all it takes.
Bad, I want to help you. That's the best. That's the mentality you have to have. It's the best I've seen it.
So transition, the biggest one for me was just getting beat up all the time. It's just, I'm not used to that.
One of the most challenging things for our freshmen right now is, what they're used to is practicing for 2 weeks and then going into the season. And we've been practicing since the beginning of school. And competition is finally in sight for them. So they don't see how they've developed because they're the low person, on the ladder, and they have these upperclassmen that were in their shoes not too long ago, getting the snot kicked out of them, not knowing if they're getting better. And we can see it. I think everybody can see it but themselves.
For me, this season's been really weird. This is probably the worst start to a season I've ever had. I've been battling this sickness for 2 weeks, and I think mentally I was not tough. I think physically, when you're not right, it makes it easier for that mental part to turn off. I'm trying to tell myself that this sickness was a blessing or a good thing, and I think that's how you have to look at setbacks. You have to think of them as a learning experience. I think when you have setbacks like this, it's important to sit down and reevaluate what your goals are. So for me, it was just going back and seeing why I wrestled, and I wrestled because I love it.
My role is to put them in situations that'll challenge them both physically and psychologically, but they will succeed in that situation. But in order to do so, it requires a high degree of focus and attention on the task. So I'm never going to put anybody in a situation where they're going to fail, because confidence is big. Confidence builds success. Success builds team atmosphere and culture. Like I said, my job is to put them in situations where they're going to succeed, but they have to work for it, and they know that. They love that challenge, so every day they come in and they got that attack mindset. In my opinion, mental toughness is just the ability to persevere through tough situations, but it's how you respond to that shows your true character. And like I said, I put the guys in good situations where they're going to succeed and they have that confidence. So come competition, they've seen it all and they're ready for anything. Mental toughness, like I said, is the ability to persevere through adversity, but what it's not is being uneducated and reckless with your training. I don't think it's not grinding through to the point of injury, because that's the complete opposite of what we're trying to accomplish. They're a confident group, but at the same time, I have to educate them on why we pull back on certain days. We train harder than anybody in the nation. Believe that.
Mentally tough people know where their abilities are, and they set their goals accordingly.
As a person, we want to look at Bronfenbrenner's model, where he has he talks about all the different contexts that we exist in. We're an individual with our own unique personalities and temperaments, and we exist in a family, and the family has a wider family, and then there's the organizations around us, the school that we're a part of, the state we live in. Everything contributes to. Everything's interrelated, really, so all that is going to play a role on mental toughness. what we see our parents do, what we see our teachers do. What does that tell you? You want to put yourself, if you're trying to improve mental toughness, you need to surround yourself with mentally tough role models, whether it be friends, even the things you watch. Like, so watching TV and movies, we catch ideas all the time from TV and movies.
Coach Makovsky and his staff is great. We talk all on a daily basis. He's established a good culture and tradition in his time here, so it makes my job so much easier, and the guys are very hard workers. Specifically with the wrestling team here, or any team here really, it's big on building relationships with the coaches and the student athletes. Lifting is a part of it. It's my role, but I'm a support staff on Coach Makovsky's staff too. So I mean, anything the guys need, I encourage them to come up and talk to me and ask me questions about why we're doing certain things.
One of the most important things for a college coach is socially, confidence-wise, structural, academic, that they are getting good habits. That's how important it is to have these guys have a time to get up, classes to go to, structure for lifting, structure for study hall, structure for practice, so they develop good habits. It doesn't happen by accident. At the same time, allowing them the freedom to socialize, to enjoy the goods of college, so it's not just one-sided.
Like anything else, there's always probably an element of innateness, but everybody focuses on that. Everyone's looking for, like, the gifted birth. There is going to be always, some people are naturally a little bit in better shape, like endurance-wise, than others. But that's not what pushes you to the great lengths. It's the drive after. It's the nurture part of it, the part that you're training yourself. Is it inborn, or do they see those lessons from their parents and from the adults that were around them as a child?
I have a twin brother. His name is Chad.
Twin, I mean, that's huge. I mean, it's like another you, basically.
Having him there, it was something, or somebody that, they're going to be there every single day. Like, he's your twin brother, like, he's going to be your practice partner. But it also puts in there that whole competitive side.
Since we're brothers, too, that it's like a rivalry or a competition in everything that you do. So we'd always compete in football, wrestling, whatever it was. We tried to get that advantage or get that edge. I feel like in a way their mentality would be the same because they have the same genes. So they'd think, and I guess a lot of what they do would be the same, but at the same time, everyone is unique in their own way and each person has their own style.
I think about a lot of it comes from how a person is raised. And that's where we got from. That my dad raised us to be that way, where it's, you keep pushing forward. I mean, yeah, the past shows what you've done, but the future holds what you haven't done.
Genetics plays a role, but obviously the environment and what you go through, I think that has more of an impact on how mentally tough you are.
So it's not saying you're just automatically born with it and you're mentally tough, but just physically watching your parents do certain things and how they overcome certain circumstances, you can gain mental toughness just by or see how to gain mental toughness. So not born with it, but you can definitely learn it.
This year for Tanner, we're looking for a lot of dedication, a lot of team pride. I think he's got to really focus on each match and every match. And for a win or a loss, he's got to take that back and he's got to get the extra effort into his practice rooms. And he really needs to build off that and to
believe in himself. And defeat those guys.
My mom literally worked and drove me to wrestling practice, and then on Sundays, her only day off, Sundays were days of the tournaments, and we would drive all over the state, and she would take me to tournaments and spend, 8 hours at a tournament on her only day off. She works a laborious job too. She's a mail carrier. There's days where it's -40, -60 degrees, but it didn't matter. People still need their mail. So, she would walk and do that and then take me an hour and 15 minutes away. to practice.
Started when he was young, so I think it was easier. I can remember a little boy throwing a fit after he lost a really bad fit, and explained to him that that wasn't acceptable, and that if he lost a match, the other kid wasn't any better than him, or if he won a match, he wasn't better than the other kid. He may have wrestled better, or the other kid may have wrestled better, but it didn't change who they are, and that it didn't change as far as the person they were going to grow up to be. It was just a match, and you tried your best, and that was it.
I remember my mom, grabbing me one time when I was real young. I can't remember. She grabbed me pretty hard, and that's why I remember it. And she told me, if you ever act like that, you'll never wrestle again. I'll stop the match and I'll walk out there and embarrass you in front of everyone and give you a spanking. And, just having that great role model, I think, helped with my mental toughness.
Really just knowing that anything can be learned. And one of the worst things you could have is a fixed mindset. Like, this is how things are, and that's the way they're always going to be. You want to shift to that growth mindset that I can learn anything, and that success is as a result of my efforts, not just the talent.
He's got a high ankle sprain, so he rolled it over and spread these two bones a little bit. So what I'm doing is just to try to make sure we compress the fibula and the tibia together. Okay. Kind of keep those bones from spreading. Part of what happened during his injury. Yeah. This one is more like a 4 to 6 week injury. Okay. So he came back fairly quickly from it because we got him taken care of pretty good right away, and we got swung out, and he did what he was supposed to do. So he was in a boot. So he started wrestling about 3 weeks after this injury. So,
It was like 2, wasn't it?
actually, yeah, it was about 2.5. 2.5. Yeah, it was.
Because that Thursday duel was a week and 6 days.
Yeah, about 2 weeks after the injury, which was, for his injury, was very good coming back from. It is. Yeah, I hope. All right, let me know how that script goes. Yeah.
So right now, I live with 2 other wrestlers, and in this house we eat a lot of eggs, mostly because eggs are a great source of protein, and they don't have a lot of sodium or anything. So right now what I'm gonna make is, I don't know what to call it. I kind of just make some scrambled eggs with a bunch of veggies in it, and then wrap it up here in one of these garden spinach wraps that I get. I guess the biggest thing for me, or as wrestlers in general, is to eat. We eat a lot of protein. I mean, when we go to the store and get eggs, we usually buy them 5 dozen at a time. So, yeah, eggs go by fast through this house. But other things that I'll eat, I'll make sure to make pasta. So right now, I just cut up a bunch of bell peppers, so I'm going to add that to my pan. You can tell if opponents cut your weight wrong, because if you don't eat and you cut out a lot of water weight, you can see guys, I guess it's typical for wrestlers to look sucked down. So that's what happens when you cut your weight wrong. You look like that. You look super skinny, and then not only that, you feel crappy. So that's what I guess a lot of wrestlers who don't know about nutrition do, is they give up eating so they don't have to work out extra. But that's the thing, there's no escaping, you're gonna have to work out. coach calls it fueling the system. Typically in a practice, I'll lose like from 4 to 7 pounds a practice. Yeah, and that's like all water weight. But so like how I'd say I wrestle 141, and I'd say how my weight drops is I'll come in the beginning of the week anywhere from 152 up, and I try to lose 4 pounds a day. I think now weight's not a problem for me. Obviously weight cutting is still hard, but now my body has really adjusted to it. So I think mentally that's like a big burden let off. The guys have been wrestling really hard. You know, that's kind of been the mentality here at Minnesota State, and I think that's something we're trying to get back, is that you wrestle hard for those 7 minutes. And it was a heartbreaker last night, but everyone on the team wrestled hard.
a great win. He's as hard as he's hurting with his ankle, and to go out there with that dedication, it's a great win.
You know, it hurts when you lose like that, when you're so close. But, you know, we're going to have to learn how to open up and score a little more points against teams like that. But, you know, we had a couple big wins against Division III opponents, and then we had a huge win against Augustana. So what I just dump everything right here. Each egg has protein, and the wrap has a little protein too. So I mean, a lot of nutrition.
Whatever you got to get in your head, there's 10 seconds left, 50 seconds riding time. Think of it like your qualifying match for nationals. Think about your national title match, your semifinals match, your quarters. But you don't have a choice to get out. In this case, ride it. Okay? If it gets away, you got to score or you lose. Okay? 10-second go. Ready? Go!
Just got done with our dual season. Just kind of focusing on the regional coming up and trying to prepare myself the best for that. Overall, I think it was a really good season. Dual-wise, we had a couple close duels versus Augustana and Upper Iowa, and beat Augustana, lost Upper Iowa by a point. St. Cloud, I believe the kid was nationally ranked that I wrestled, and I mean, I was wrestling the match that I wanted to be. I was up 5-2 going into the third. I distinctly remember like taking a break or thinking to myself, oh, I can take a break, and that 1 minute break nearly cost me the match. I got taken down twice just from being lazy and not staying focused. Ended up going into overtime, and I mean, you're tired and bad thoughts are creeping into your head, and I just kind of tried to like wash those out and just stay positive. Ended up getting a takedown with within 15 seconds of overtime, and won the match. I feel like we finished pretty well versus Northern State and Southwest. Overall, it's been a pretty good year. I think we were 10-4. I mean, I feel like there was a few that we could have won throughout the year, but I mean, it happens. I mean, I feel like I was making some good progress in the open season and into national duels and whatnot. And then it got a little shaky during when I got hurt. My mental toughness did. I mean, it was a little tough with my ankle right away because they told me I was going to be out 4+ weeks, and I mean, I wasn't okay with that, and it took me a couple days to be fine with it and to move on. I've looked at it with an open mind.
Postseason in a nutshell, so you go in and take some time, imagine it every day. I think, all things considered, the biggest thing is the guy that's willing to go through hell when it's completely uncomfortable. The motivation, obviously, is I want to be national champion. I want to be an All-American. I want to be a national qualifier. That's your motivation.
Coach Mikowski has tried try to tell me like just keep like working towards your main goal, and like that's what I've been doing. Kind of look at it as like a blessing. It was time off for me. Maybe I needed that time, and I mean, you can't look at it negatively.
Picture yourself. Take 5 minutes to picture yourself being completely uncomfortable, still coming through. You can decrease everything fast. As far as getting it up there, minimal percentages that are important. Okay? We can gain those, but by far the biggest one is just having a right mindset. If you put pressure on them, they will quit. 9 out of 10 is. They love it when things are going good, but when things are, either you got their back pressed against the wall, I'm ready to be done. And we need everybody in here. We need everybody in here with the same mindset.
Keep progressing and just keep my mind on the end goal that I want this year. National champion.
My goal is to win a national title, and that's achievable, but it's also going to be really tough. So it's been really hard. You know, you dedicate yourself 15, 16 years to something, and then it's just kind of like over. It's been bittersweet for sure. Just because you lose, you change your goal up a little bit. You change it to the highest thing that you can accomplish right then. So it's not I collapse. It's what's the next best thing I can do, and that's mental toughness for me. My next goal is to graduate, and then when I graduate, the goal is to get into coaching. As I take a step in the next part of my life, I want to make an impact and I guess pay it forward to the children now.
Good morning, fans, and welcome to the Denny Sanford Premier Center in Sioux Falls, South Dakota for the 2016 NCAA Division II Wrestling National Championships.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light
174-pound semifinal. Adam Cooling, Minnesota State. Nick Becker, Wisconsin Parkside.
We're going to overtime on mat 3.
So what is this thing called mental toughness? It's pushing yourself to your breaking point and then going past it.
It's always being grateful.
And it's being able to deal with adversity.
In third place from Minnesota State, Matt Mincy.
From Minnesota State University, Malcolm Allen. In third place from Minnesota State University, Adam Cooling.
I feel like it's been a pretty good year. I mean, obviously didn't accomplish like my main goal, but I mean I have a year left. Just to ensure my spot of going to nationals is something that I've never done yet here. That was a big thing for me to get past that hump. You start off with however many wrestlers in the nation. Division II, only 160 wrestlers go to nationals from the region, and then out of those 160, only 80 All-American, and out of those 80, 10 are national champions. And like in your weight class, there's 16, and only 8 of those 16 are All-Americans. It's definitely a privilege to say that, but it's not what I fully wanted. So I mean, it was a little bittersweet, but it's not over yet. I mean, I have a year left. I mean, it takes a lot mentally after one of your dreams is like taken away, and then to come back and get the next best thing, which was 3rd place. I mean, I talked to one of my teammates and talked to the coaches, and they just like told me what you're gonna remember from nationals is how you went about your situation after you lost. I'm glad they got to me because I really didn't know what to do, and I was really pleased with myself, like how I did that. Like I had a similar situation last year. I lost in the semis, and I took it the wrong way. But this year I felt I was a lot tougher, like mentally.
If you want to look at mental toughness developing, I think you need to look at Adam. Last year at Regions, he lost in the semifinals and just broke down and could not perform. One, we know Adam's not like that. Like, we know he's a tough wrestler, but mentally he just broke down. And now, fast forward to this year, again, we're in the semifinals. This time we're at the national tournament. And again, he loses in the semifinals. A heartbreaker. That's going through his head. We all knew it. And what did he do? He came back and he almost wrestled the best matches of his entire tournament.
This went fairly well. I started off pretty good. I had my first tournament of the year. I took 4th in a pretty tough tournament in Luther. And then the next tournament in Buena Vista, I also took 4th. I went to Augsburg, did fairly well there. I mean, overall, I had a fairly good season. I feel like I definitely came a lot more mature, and I kind of knew my place a lot more better, and was just more determined to wrestle hard every practice. Because I remember my freshman year, I took a lot of beatings. Like, I'm sure sitting with many freshmen do, but they take a lot of beatings their freshman year, and they feel like they shouldn't be in wrestling. Now that I'm through that, I definitely feel super comfortable. Like, I definitely deserve to be here and I belong here. I mean, it doesn't really matter, I mean, if you're first or last, if you're mentally tough, but being mentally tough is pretty much, it's a choice for anyone.
I had some bumps in the beginning of the season. Definitely didn't start out how I wanted it to. I went 0-2 with the first tournament and then just battled sickness. But I felt in the middle of the year, I started to develop and start wrestling on a higher level. I went undefeated at home. When you look at the end of the season, I think, you know, it's just right there. Simple mistakes that could have been avoided. You don't have to avoid the emotion. Everybody knows you're sad. Everybody knows, like, you hurt. Everybody knows you're upset or mad. So mental toughness is like letting out your emotions, but doing it in a controlled manner. If you look at it as a whole and don't define the season by what you get at the end, as a lot of people say, I'd say it was good.